Welcome to the Digitize Fully Charged Podcast. I'm your host, Pam Curry, and I'm joined, as always, by Niall Ridgway. Now, today's episode, I'm so excited about. Alice Keeler, I've previously called her the Taylor Swift of EdTech, is joining us to talk about what she's been up to. She's been trying out Chromebooks and she's been discovering new social networks. So let's dive in. Talk to Alice. Alice, my darling, it is lovely to see you again. All the way from Kansas.
Yeah.
Alice, you're spending all your time on Blue Sky, Alice.
I literally am spending all of my time on Blue Sky from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. And for those of you listening who don't know what Blue Sky is, it's the better Twitter, which I will not be calling X. So let's just get past that. And even before Elon Musk bought X, it had really started to go downhill with people being, this is my opinion, negative and driving away a lot of the teachers. It used to be I'd go on to Twitter and I would just get so many quick ideas. I didn't even have to scroll.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. And I feel really energized.
Yeah.
And then I just really think it became a toxic place. And so the teachers, it seemed to me, were kind of not for us. And, the EdTech specialists hang around, which is good. But even now, the EdTech people are like, whoa, what's going on here? So 2 years ago, when Elon Musk bought Twitter, this site called Blue Sky popped up. Now it is Twitter. It is almost exactly like Twitter. If you know Twitter, you know Blue Sky, except it has just way more ways to block people.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! It's just a safer environment, and it's open source, so it's not driven by a billionaire's algorithm. So really, actually, you can make your own algorithms and see the content of what you want to see, which is, of course, cat pictures, which I will provide for you if you follow me. I don't have a cat, but my daughter and my son do, and the cat is right here sleeping next to me because it thinks I should feed it at 4:00 in the morning, and I take pictures of its butt in my face. So sometimes I post that. So if you want cat pictures, alicekeeler.com on Blue Sky. But I reached out to the Blue Sky people and I said, so, Twitter is dying and the educator community used to be really awesome. I would like to help build the educator community. Give me a bunch of invites, which at the time people were buying them on eBay. You couldn't get an invite. So they gave me 300. And I've been diligently working on this for 2 years, you guys, where I use the hashtag EduSky, and then I post once a day. So I was posting 7 to 10 times a week, just and commenting on people, trying to get the community going. And then, when Trump won, everyone decided, we don't want to be here anymore. And literally the day after Trump won the US election, it has been an exodus over to Blue Sky, and everyone's just oh my gosh, it's like the old days. It's a fresh breath of air. So if you get nothing out of this conversation, come join us. If you don't want to hear from me, you can block me. You can mute me. You can mute hashtags. I have multiple things that I'm interested in. I like to talk about education, specifically student-centered learning using technology, right? Then I also am really into politics. Let's not talk about that.
No.
But I have a bunch of people I follow who are talking about that. And then I also am a Google developer expert for Google Workspace, which means that I code. So I follow a bunch of really nerdy people that teachers would never want to. So, but what's nice I feel about Blue Sky is I can have all three of me in one place because I can create lists, and it allows me to pin the list. So if I just click on the tabs up at the top that I create, then I see what I want. So when I want to see things about Google, I have a feed that just shows me Google EDU hashtag, and I'm interacting with people around Google Workspace. If I just want to see people talking about education, I've got a feed that's filtered for EduSky. And then I add other people into lists and I pin the list. So it's just these people are talking about coding.
Yeah.
And then I can have those conversations without.
So it's you're in control. People are determining what the algorithm shows them, aren't they, with Blue Sky?
That's right.
And it's built on blockchain, right?
I think it is. I know how to spell blockchain.
Yeah. So like it's not this idea that one person is getting rich and that, I mean, there's no advertising yet, is there? There's no advertising platform as yet.
I'm going to say something unpopular. I noticed in your show notes. What controversial thing do you want to talk about? I have so many controversial things I can talk about. But one is, I don't think tools should be free.
Oh, okay.
My job, right? Because if it's free, you are the product.
True.
If you want it to be free, it can't. That's not sustainable, and those engineers have to be paid. The servers are expensive. All that stuff is expensive. So how do you generate money to pay the engineers, the marketing? If you don't market, you don't have a product, right? How do you pay for all of that if you don't have a paid model? And then if you want feature upgrades, why would they listen to you if you're not paying them? Mm-hmm. So to make it sustainable, to make it high quality, paying should be the norm. So when they come up with a pay model, I'm going to pay. I'm going to pay because I want it to stick around. I'm not telling anybody else to do anything. That's what I'm going to do. But you look at Flipgrid, it wasn't generating money. Bye.
I know.
And we're devastated. Like, how do you even replace Flipgrid? Here's a tool that makes a video. You're missing it.
It's like we've as a society, though, as a world, when like we became used to getting things for free, didn't we?
But you were always the product.
Yeah, exactly.
Now go look at Facebook. It's unlookable. How many literally in a row is not person I'm following, not person I'm following, not person I'm following, not person in a row? 10, 12, 20. I'm not exaggerating.
Do you know, I've not even been logged into Facebook for about 6 weeks, I don't think.
Because its algorithm is not about connecting you with people. It's about making Zuckerberg money, which is why we're not using Threads. Oh, now that Blue Sky is picking up some steam, maybe they'll let you prioritize the people you follow. What? So that was the news this week. The news this week is that Zuckerberg is going to try out letting you put who you're following in front of the algorithm as your first feed. But you got to know how to move it. He's not going to default that for you. Which, by the way, it doesn't default that for you in Blue Sky either, right? So when you sign up for a Blue Sky account, first thing you see is the Discover feed, because if you show up and you see nothing, you'd be like, what is this? So the first thing to do is follow a bunch of people, and then you go to your feeds, click edit, and I deleted the Discover feed. Like, I don't have no algorithm. I'm algorithm free. I am company made algorithm free because, of course, I made a bunch of algorithms. And that's what Blue Sky lets you do, is write your own algorithm. It's called a feed. Yeah. And then you pin those, and then it's the way that you want it.
And you decide what kind of content you see as well, don't you? Like, there's lots of, is there not like ticky boxes or something for what type of content?
That's the best and worst part, is there's so many ways to have control over your content. So just, get a cup of tea or whatever you like, or whatever Niall's drinking, and go through and read all of the settings really slowly, because there's just a lot of these different options. So one of the things that people are doing is they're using a red push pin to I want to remember this thread later. I want to bookmark it. I want to save it. Well, then I go to my notifications. It's just because I'm putting out content that people want to save. Yeah. So then it's red push pin, red push pin, red push. I don't want to see that. That was not for me. Why am I being notified of these red push pins? So I go on any post, I go to the 3 dots and I choose mute words, and I muted the red push pin, and I never see it.
Nice. Smooth moves. Right, Niall, we need to get ourselves on Blue Sky.
Yeah,
are you on?
So I have a story, yes. So over the past couple of months, I have noticed that my engagement, personally and with me, on Twitter has really died down.
Yeah, it's gone.
And so a couple of months ago, I was like, what else is out there? I wasn't actually looking. I was just kind of interested. And then maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I put into our our work chat and was like, "Does anybody use Blue Sky? Like, what is this? I've heard this kind of this word," and then turns out it's been having its own wee revolution.
It's having a moment, isn't it?
And blew up. So I joined. I have an account, and all I'm seeing on the news is that it's gaining however many millions of users every single day. And
last I checked, which was this morning, 22 million.
Yeah, that's
quite an increase.
That's a big increase, isn't it? Was it not just hovering around like 1 million not that long ago?
Oh no! Before Trump, it was 14 million.
Oh, what's it?
Sure.
All right, okay. What was the other one beginning with M?
Oh, Mastodon.
Yes.
I called it death when it started. Not to disparage the people on Mastodon, because here's the beauty, right? Is that both Mastodon and Blue Sky are quote unquote unfederated. I can't even spell that. I can spell the blockchain. I don't know how you spell federated, whatever. But I think that this means you control your data, right? So you can host your posts from Mastodon. You can host your posts from Blue Sky. And the things that I post in Blue Sky can be seen in other post aggregators that are also unfederated. So if you're like, I don't like what Blue Sky is doing, you can take your account and your whole presence and everything and just use it somewhere else. So they have it set up. It is, it's not a for-profit. Well, they make money, but it's a public good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a public good corporation, not a C Corp.
Yeah.
Which is a big difference, right? A C Corp has a fiduciary responsibility to the stakeholders, whereas a public good corporation has a responsibility to the public.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then it's open source, and then all of these other things have it in a way that they just can't sell it to a billionaire.
Yeah, that's it.
So if you're on Mastodon, that's more theoretical right now. But in theory, like if you're on Mastodon and Blue Sky should be able to aggregate together in a third party. You know how like you went to like I don't know, Buffer or something where you can get multiple.
Yeah.
So that in theory is what's going to be happening, is that you're going to be able to use a platform that pulls in unfederated posts from multiple
channels,
places, like Mastodon, Blue Sky, and now we're together.
Makes sense. I've been spending, since the demise of Twitter, like we all knew and loved it for a while, I've been spending a lot of time on LinkedIn. That's where I've gone. And I've noticed there's a few people in the EdTech world kind of there. But Alice is skeptical.
Well, no, I'm on LinkedIn too.
Yeah.
Is it, Pam, is it like old days of Twitter?
Not
is it
quite.
Teachers? Are people talking, just sharing lesson plans and little tips? No.
Probably not.
It's mostly, hey, I got this certification.
Yeah, show offs.
Yeah.
Well, sure. You have to self-promote.
Well,
Come
that's
on.
true.
So what's the content like on Blue Sky? So I find personally that Instagram is very much like the beautiful classrooms and like, look at this beautiful piece of work that my students have created. I find LinkedIn is very kind of bloggy and certified, as you said, and then Twitter used to be the kind of sharing short snippets or sharing a wee picture of what's been going on. Where does Blue Sky sit in all of that?
So Blue Sky is Twitter. Just remember that. Blue Sky is not just pre-Elon Musk Twitter, it's pre-toxic Twitter.
Yeah. It was not started, but it was one of the guy that started Twitter was involved in. He started Blue Sky,
Jack
didn't he?
Dorsey was part of that. But, the whole tech bro industry, they cannibalize each other or whatever. So he came over. He was initially involved. He didn't start it. He was just on the board.
Yeah.
Okay. So then when at some point he decided him and Elon Musk are best friends, which makes no sense because of course there was lots of trash talking. So whatever. Jack Dorsey's not a teacher. I could care less about him. Teachers are on Blue Sky. They're having great conversations. So hashtag EduSky, EduSky, and we do use camel case because it is friendly to screen readers, which also Blue Sky makes it easier to add alt text to images. And so people are out there enforcing that as well. So we want to be accessible to our screen reader community. So that is nice. And now I forgot what I was going to say. But, yes. So then we started EduSky Chat. So hashtag EduChat. capital E, DU, capital S, KY, capital C, HAT. If you go in and you just search the hashtag, just like you do on Twitter, you're going to see the posts that come up for that hashtag. Shows you the top posts first, just like on Twitter. Click over and see the latest ones. And then we are doing a chat. Remember the old school Twitter chats?
Yeah.
So they're back.
Brilliant.
I mean, when's the last time you participated in a Twitter chat? It was so slow, hardly anybody there. It was very lethargic. Last week, we had over 900 posts in half an hour.
Wow.
So,
That's great.
Super energetic. We did another one last night. And a lot of people joined in, so that was good. We are moving the the EduSky chat to Tuesdays starting in 2025, because it seems like everybody has a chat on Monday. So TLAP is on Monday, EdTech chat is on Monday. I don't know, there's like 5 of them on Monday. Okay. And there's nobody on Tuesday. So we're like, we'll take Tuesday.
We're having Tuesday. I love that. Right. So big message coming out from you, Alice, is get on Blue Sky.
That's where all the great and it's positive conversations. Yeah. And if someone's, interrupting your piece, block them. And no, it's not creating an echo chamber. Let's be honest. We come to social media to share pictures of our cat. Mm-hmm. Here's what I'm eating today. No one's going like, you know what? I wonder where I can get yelled at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what? I embrace a diversity of opinions. I don't embrace you being a jerk.
Absolutely.
You want to like block,
yep.
block.
You're like, bye.
Yeah. I've had the same. Like, I've had people comment on videos, and like nothing that they're saying is pleasant or nice, and I'm sitting there stewing, like trying to work out what is my answer, what am I going to put, and I'm picturing one, and I just went delete. It's gone. I don't have to worry about this.
I know. I try to. Once in a while, I get sucked in. I'm in a bad mood. Yep. But I know better. I shouldn't do it. I'm normally a nice person, but just sometimes you push my buttons.
I get it.
That's it. So, Alice, what we like to do on this podcast is just find out how you became you. What's your story? What's your, like, I'm assuming, given the EdTech influence, that you were in a classroom at one point in the distant past?
No, not in the distant past. I taught 7th grade last year.
So you did.
I moved, and the district that is around me is Microsoft. And if you know me, I'm very googly. I mean, I love Microsoft too. Hi, Mike Dolson. It's not that I don't like, I actually do. I love Teams. I really do. I love Teams. I love PowerPoint Designer. Like, okay, there's lots of things I love. So I'm not trashing on it, but here's what I learned, because I worked at a Microsoft district for a little bit when I was in California, is I can't be amazing at everything.
No.
And if I want to share tips, if I want to like really be a driver of innovative ideas, I need to be in one platform. So Google's my platform, not trashing on Microsoft. So many lovely things. Excel's great. It's great. Cool. I want to use Google. So since I moved, I'm looking for districts near me that use Google.
Yeah.
Or if anyone's listening, lets me teach remotely.
Nice.
Because I have like fancy Chromebooks that I travel. Look at this cool Chromebook that I have.
Well, that's very cool.
It's a tablet and a Chromebook.
Nice.
Anyways,
and the nice.
I can teach from anywhere now.
Teach from anywhere. So how did you get interested in technology? Like when at the start of your career, how did it happen?
My background is just, we had a computer before anybody else had one.
Okay.
Because my dad had money, right? We had a VCR. Oh my gosh, I remember my dad brought home the VCR. It was huge.
Yeah.
Like so large. And we had like way before everybody else had all of these things, we had them. And so that just kind of like, I'm 48 and I've grown up with technology almost my whole life. So when I started, I'll back this way up. I repeated the 4th grade because I couldn't do math.
Really?
And I started college. I'm like, I want to graduate with as little math as humanly possible. And they're like, no problem. You don't need to take any. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was a history major. I wanted to go into politics. And then 3 weeks later, I changed my major to math. I would pray on my way to school and just felt the Lord telling me I should. I'm like, now wait a minute here, because I like really, really not for me. So, God tells you to do something. So I changed my major to math. I'm like, I should probably sign up for a math class. So I didn't even take math my first semester of college. And then I took an intro to teaching course, and I'm like, this is terrible. So I'm in observing the math department where they're handing out worksheets and complaining about, we don't want to get new textbooks because we'd have to write new tests. I'm like, this doesn't bring me joy. I don't. So I did graduate with a degree in math with honors. I was the only person to get a non-zero score on the Putnam exam. And it turns out I'm not bad at math. I just don't do it fast.
Right.
And by the way, arithmetic is not math. Math is thinking, getting it wrong. It's creativity. If it's not creative, critical thinking, it's not math. I will die on that hill. Look at all these controversial things I bring up.
Yeah, no, I can't believe, though, that you actually had an aversion to maths and then ended up majoring in it.
I know.
I
know.
That's quite the swing.
I didn't want to have any children either, Pam, and I have 5. If you had asked me, do I want to live in the middle of nowhere? Kansas? No. I grew up in Alaska, and then, we moved a lot of places. And my dad built the Padres Stadium, so, they just don't need a second one when you're done. So we moved around a bit. But then here's a true story. I said, Dad, I'm getting married. He said, oh, good. I'm going to divorce your mom.
What?
Right. So my mom, my brother, my sister, and I all lived in California. So I lived there for nearly 30 years. That's where I met my husband, had all our kids there. And then I came to Kansas for a visit over COVID. And then I just never went home. I just didn't go home. So this is my life story is, do you want to do this? No, I don't. Well, guess what? It's going to be your thing.
That's bizarre.
I had to promise the intro to teaching teacher that I would not teach. And then I was going to be an actuary. I was studying to be an actuary. I, on purpose, only took statistics classes, not the classes that you need to teach math. And I got a job at a bank while I was studying for the actuary exam. And my first day working at the bank, Clovis High School calls me and says, hey, Alice, can you come in for a job interview tomorrow? Would you mind filling out an application? So I'm like, part-time minimum wage, full-time with benefits? Yes. So I got into teaching for the money.
You got headhunted.
You got into teaching for the money.
I did. I got into teaching for the money. And
I don't think we'll hear that as a sentence.
Not usually, especially when you're studying to be an actuary where you can actually make money.
Absolutely.
So maybe I'm not the sharpest crayon in the box, but I enjoyed it. And I started the teacher credential program. They wheeled in this giant LCD projector and they said, if anyone wants to use PowerPoint, I'm like, I don't know what PowerPoint is, but I'm going to use this. So I started making really horrible PowerPoints for my students. And then the other teachers at campus were like, what are you doing? You have an LCD projector? I stole it from the library. You're only supposed to borrow it for a couple hours. And I just never returned it. And they would come by my room like, have you seen the LCD projector? No. I bought that one from home. That's not yours. So I had an LCD projector. And actually, when I started teaching in January of 1999, I inherited the laptop algebra program. So I have literally never, ever taught math without being one-to-one. I for 25 years, I've been one-to-one teaching math.
Really?
I know. So it's just super, super unique, right? So then all these teachers are asking me questions. I'm like, well, I should probably put this on a website. Well, then the website's public. Other people can see it. And then I got into Twitter and, I'm sharing there. And then I wrote a book. And the next thing I know, I'm famous.
You're famous. Alice, yep. Do you remember when I first met you, I called you the Taylor Swift of EdTech?
I I would like to put Holly Clark up for that. She would be very offended to pass that title to me. No one loves Taylor Swift more than Holly Clark.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Her Facebook yesterday was her picture of her waiting in line to buy tickets to the Eros tour. And I am positive that she has been more than 5 times.
Really?
I want to say 10, but I can comfortably say 5.
Do you know, Alice, when Taylor Swift, do you remember when we met in Edinburgh? It was cold and wet and
was it
horrible.
Cold in Edinburgh?
Yeah, come off it. Taylor Swift was in Edinburgh. Do you know what happened? Our hand froze. She was playing in Edinburgh at the stadium in Edinburgh, and her hand did some weird kind of clamping up thing because of the weather, because it was so cold.
Oh,
Do you remember that food tour we took in Edinburgh?
Oh my gosh, yes. The worst food tour I've ever had.
I was embarrassed on behalf of Scotland.
Yes.
So what kind of food tour was it?
I'm talking up the food tour to you, Pam, right? I'm like, this is life-changing. I wherever I go to a city, and this is also Holly Clark's fault. Her and I were presenting in Kazakhstan together, and we had a layover in Prague. And she's like, we're doing a food tour. I'm like, okay, we're doing a food tour. And this is the best thing ever. And so now I do food tours everywhere that I go. So I'm like, Pam, do a food tour.
Yeah.
And it was a scam. So the guy did not give us a food tour. He gave us a regular tour. I thought the tour was good. Mm-hmm. Although I have been to the cemetery more times than I would like to count. So while it's lovely and has a lot of great stories, that isn't what I signed up for. The tour I signed up for did not go to the cemetery because I wanted to go to other places. And he threw some cookies at us, I think.
And remember he said, so are you guys into Harry Potter? And the 3 of us just went,
yeah.
So then he took us on the Harry Potter tour anyway.
He did. He did it anyway. And he kept demanding that I was cold. And I'm like, I'm good. Trust me. He's like, I'm going to give you my jacket. I'm like, dude, I grew up in Alaska. If I tell you I'm good, I'm good. I had an alpaca sweater from Peru. I was warm. Right. I remember because I was wearing my spreadsheet t-shirt.
That's right.
Right. And, short sleeve. And I had the alpaca sweater. And yeah, it's a poncho actually. So I had to literally wrap myself in it. But I was warm. He just wouldn't believe me. I'm like, dude. No.
Ever since then, I've been like, someone should really start up a better food tour in Edinburgh.
There is. And I've gone on a food tour since then in Edinburgh.
And was it better?
It was definitely better. It was good. No, that was just a fluke. It's just that guy. That guy is running a scam.
It was still a good day. It gave us good stories.
Right? We had a fun time. But we were starving. So we literally went out to dinner after the food tour. That's how it's supposed to go. You should be so full. You should be so full after a food tour.
I know. But anyway.
But we had, we went and sat down. More good times.
Exactly. It was a fun day.
You'd mentioned, Alice, that you've got a website. So kind of moving, tell us about your website.
Yeah, it's alicekeeler.com. So I like to joke that my blog is my job. And so I blog about EdTech. It's mostly a love letter to Google, let's be honest. But, I could give a rat's behind about Google if I'm really passionate about students. I'm passionate about students being passionate, about student-centered learning. Student-centered learning is my passion. I don't care what tools you use. My slogan is paperless is not a pedagogy. So how are we using this to empower students, give them a voice, allow them to have choice? And that's my angle.
What's your favorite new thing? What's your favorite new tech? Where are you at with sort of things you've discovered quite recently? Apart from Blue Sky.
I just opened up this Chromebook yesterday. So this is a Lenovo Duet.
Okay.
And it is a full keyboard. Come here. This actually works out great when I'm just put it on the table. It flips open. Oh, I was trying to open it from the bottom. That was my problem. I'm looking at the camera. I'm not looking at what I'm doing, right? But I really do I hate a front of the room. I I want to decenter the classroom. Like, I don't want a smart board at the front of the room. And there's another thing I could rant about, how smart boards ruined EdTech. But anyway, I want to be out and moving around with the students. So the fact that this is both a full Chromebook and a tablet, it's so fast. Like, I've had some Chromebooks in the past, and it's like, I mean, they were cheap. This one's really fast. So I'm thinking, like, I'm going to go on a trip this weekend. I might just take this because I'm on the plane. I can use it in tablet mode. You know, when I'm sitting in the lounge, I can be using it, you know, as a keyboard. And I just learned this trick today is I can log into multiple Google accounts at once on a Chromebook. So that's been a big hindrance for me, is that I use multiple accounts, right? I've got my school account. I've got my, if you want to hire me to do professional development training, come out and do EdTech training. And I have my personal one account. So I need to like be in all of them at the same time.
Sure.
And so now you can like click on the bottom corner of your Chromebook. And then if you click on your name, so you don't click sign out, you click on your name and it lets you add more accounts. And then if you do Control Alt period, it cycles between the accounts. Like, so I learned that today.
Amazing.
And so I'm really excited about it. So if you want to, because I learned it today, I'm super excited about it.
It's your favorite thing? Have you been doing stuff with?
My favorite thing is chats on Twitter, or not Twitter, Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Good save. So what else would you change then about the education system? So you mentioned kind of pulling everybody, or pulling that central point into the center of a room instead of being up against the whiteboard or the interactive whiteboard there.
Well, why do my kids go to school? Why don't I like, hey, I'm going to Peru next week, come with me? Why do they say no? Because they love taking notes in math class? Nope. It's because they're in track. It's because they're in the school play. It's because there's something they're doing at school that helps them to be connected to other people. And to me, the great savior of EdTech is not that we can just stick kids on computer watching a really bad video and force them to take a low quality quiz. It's that we can allow school to be more being together. Right? Like I just want more maker space, more being in the play, like things that are experiential. School should be experiential. Why has the answer been, let's just cram stuff down their throats they can Google?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the teachers. That's coming down. At least in the US. I don't know about Scotland. But it's, you know, oh, our scores are bad. Here's more standardized testing. Bore the kids. Test scores. Get rid of the librarian. The librarian is the most important person on campus.
Yeah.
Because they're the one that connects everybody together and helps them to find these new technologies and how it connects their curriculum. Getting rid of the librarian just tells me you don't actually value education. That's horrible. We're going to get rid of the play. We're going to get rid of band. I will tell you what, I will get rid of math class before we get rid of band. And I say that with 100% seriousness.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can just be like, actually, I can't say it because I have like 100 devices near me that if I say OKGOOGLE, they all like light up. So I'm going to go with, okay, ChatGPT. And I ask a question, it's going to tell me. Oh, if I feed it in here, like, I have a lawn that is 14 feet by 15 feet. How much sod do I need to buy? Well, now we all know that.
Yep.
You've never taken a math class a day in your life? Cool. Because there's a million technologies that will do this for you.
And do you think that's what makes it like, so we've all been in this kind of like education technology world for a number of years. And to be honest, I mean, I've been doing this since like 2010. And I thought progress and impact was going to happen a long time ago. And I'm kind of like, it's not, you know, I've tried hard, but I still feel like
we've been drugged backwards in some
ways.
we just,
why have we not?
is.
Yeah, and is it because we, like, actually what we're trying to do is fit a square peg in a round hole? We're trying to
Control people. We're trying to control the teachers.
Yeah, we're
giving
trying
them terrible curriculum. Like, ooh, look, you can do your math on the computer. Have the kids sit there at a screen and not talk to anybody. Really?
So, like, I often think it'd be like imagine we were to sort of reinvent the whole system. What would it look like? And I think
teachers would have 4 hours a day that they're not teaching.
Yes.
No, I'm serious.
No, see, same.
I'm 1,000% serious.
I am too.
Over it with teachers should. I'm over it. Should I call parents? Should I give a positive phone call to every student in my class? I am down for that. I do it. Now I'm down for it and I do it. When did I do that? Outside of my contract hours. Okay, so I have to lesson plan. I have to grade papers. I have to go to PLC meetings, which are not really PLC meetings. They're just a department meeting. I have to go. I have so many. I have to just more meetings. I have more meetings. And then they're like, oh, we need you to do this other thing. And you can do it on your prep period. Really? Because when am I supposed to do this other stuff? So when I started teaching 25 years ago, I was told by my colleague next door, there's a plate and they just keep putting more bricks on it and they never take them off. And that was 25 years ago. And I've had 25 years of more bricks being added on.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? All that sounds good. But I think that the toxic phrase is, it's for the kids. Okay, cool. Make sure that it all falls down on me, right? Like, I'm the standard bearer for the kids, even though you've put every barrier in front of me. You've given me 35-minute periods, 3-minutes to go pee. I can't even breathe. 20-minute lunch period. You've required that I fill out all of this paperwork for each kid. And we're going to put in fluorescent lighting, which we know sucks the energy out of kids. And we're not going to give them breakfast. And we know if kids don't eat, they can't learn. But you know what? We're not going to help you with any of that. You figure it out. So where's all that's great. I agree with that. Let's do it. Let's do it for the kids. Let's do it for the kids. Give the teachers 4 hours a day to do the list. And then you're not allowed to take it home. How about that? How about just have some work-life balance? Now, I saw this on your little form. And by little, I mean the world's longest form I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. So
that's me.
Yeah. I read all my answers. You can tell that I'm like,
I've learned them all.
But you're like, how do you have work-life balance? I'm like, don't ask me. I am not the poster child for work-life balance. But really, what teachers are, because you can't.
Yeah.
The system is designed for you to give free overtime and to guilt you if you want to spend time with your family.
Mm-hmm. There's certainly, we could echo that, so much of what you just said there in Scotland. It's not unique to your context. It is just a kind of thing.
If we really want to redesign education, we need to give teachers more time. So there's my short answer.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. It feels like, I don't know how it feels culturally in the States around education at the moment, but here there's a real breaking point feeling. I think people are at a breaking point.
It's global. But that's okay, Pam, because we can just put them on a computer program.
There's actually probably a lot of the ticky box stuff that
is it on purpose that they're trying to drive us out so they can save some money by just throwing the kids on a piece of garbage curriculum online?
Is that what's happening? Are you seeing
learning
that?
Should be humanizing. It should be humanizing. I'm going to get a sticker that says that.
Do you remember the advert that it's not an advert, but it was like a video Google search did a few years ago, and it used to make me cry every time I saw it. I used to play it at training events, and it was basically, yeah, we've got Google search, right, and we've got Google, and we've got technology, but the whole film was about the relationships and the human aspect of learning and teaching, and how that's the most important thing. You've probably seen it many times. It's the one where there's educators with like masks on and dressed up as ridiculous things and standing on tables and high-fiving pupils at the door. It's absolutely brilliant. What we'll do is we'll post a link to that video. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, it was Google search. You know, it's like a year in search. They do it every year as a kind of like looking back. It was just beautiful. What we'll do is now we'll remember to put a link to that in the show notes for this. It's a beautiful video, but it just makes the point you make there that it's that human element. And I don't know about you guys, but like here, all my educator friends are like telling me like we are social workers, and we are everything, because public money's been withdrawn from all these other services, so that it lands on the teacher.
It does land on the teacher. So I'm not being grumpy. I'm just saying it's time to like put the teacher back in teaching. It is I care about you, and I have time to care about you. And I don't have any stones to throw on people who feel tired. You should feel tired. The system is continuing to put in bricks. You know what? When you have a gap, like, so you have, this is where the student is, and this is grade level. When you have a gap between where they are and where they're supposed to be, and it's multiple years, if you can raise a kid up one grade level, you're a super teacher. You are a super teacher. So as a teacher of ninth graders, if I have a kid who comes in a second grade level and I raise them up to a third grade level, that should be like confetti. But no, I'm told I'm not good enough. You know, we don't grade on growth.
Imagine we graded on happiness. That's a nice thought, isn't it?
Why can't we? Politicians are the answer.
Alice, thank you so much. I've loved our chat. I feel like we could just chat all night. It's been so good.
It's lunchtime for me, so we'll chat all afternoon.
It's dinner time for us.
I was like that. I'm starving. This is our second.
I know a food tour you should not take.
Yes. Don't do that one in Edinburgh. I'm really hoping there's a better one.
There's so many better ones. I'm going to come back, Pam. I need a redemption. Food tour with you. Let's do it.
Yes. In fact, we'll just make it up. I'll take you on one.
Yes. And I've done that. And we're going to do it.
Brilliant. Amazing. Are you going to be at BET in January? You're going to...
I have a
What's your thoughts?
I'd like to, but I am doing a presentation, giving a keynote in Los Angeles.
Oh.
And I mean, I do like Edinburgh. Well, London. I like the UK better than I like Los Angeles. Is that controversial?
Well, do you know what? See, in January, I think you might be making the smart move.
No.
No?
No. I mean, I lived in California for like 30 years. The only thing good about Los Angeles is the Brea tar pits, so you should go there. Otherwise, it's just traffic. That's all it is one big ball of traffic. And I dare anyone to fight me on that.
Well, let's hope we catch up sometime soon anyway. It's been a real pleasure. Lovely to chat to you.
Very
Thanks so much for giving us your time. And we are going to sign up to Blue Sky right now and follow you. Well, that's a wrap on another episode. Thank you so much for joining us on the Digitize Fully Charged podcast. If you want to find us online, we're at Digitize Crew on almost every social network. You can find us on our website, wearedigitize.com. And of course, you can follow all the podcasts on Apple, Spotify. We're on YouTube as well for the podcast too. So follow us, keep in touch, and if you want to join the podcast, you can check out our website, wearedigitize.com, where you can sign up using our contact form.